And welcome to another episode of the Proton Pack Podcast. I'm Kris, and with me always is the Buzz Lightyear to my Woody, Tony. Say hey, Tone.
To infinity and beyond.
Oh, shut up.
Hey, guys. Episode 27. How's it going?
Yeah, we're getting up there. Getting episodes out every week. Our days change a little bit, but...
Days change, man. Life gets in the way, and then I go out and I get sick. I mean, I can't believe I'm sick right before mother vacation. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, so if you hear Tony hacking and coughing up a lung, it's just par for the course this week for him.
Yes. So when I start sounding like Ginny, a.k.a. my dad's, I think now ex-girlfriend, or maybe they're still
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Cracky.
Cracky in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Like, legit, I feel like I have smoked a pack of cigarettes. I have not felt like this crappy congested since I was a young lad who smoked Marlboros.
Well, I'll take on some of the heavy lifting. You won't have to do too many impressions that push the voice, and we've got our sand bites to help us out.
That sounds good. There's a lot of fun sound clips, so we should have fun with that.
There are. This week we're recording on a Saturday midday, so you got us all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. But the news stories coming out this week, there's not a whole lot. You know, whereas in the last 2 weeks, our shows have been about an hour and a half each. I expect this one to be a little bit shorter because we're not getting a whole lot out of it, but we'll make the best of it. All right, and starting out as we have been with our shameless plugs, again, I urge everybody to go check out my dog rescue nonprofit, Rough Riders, at roughriders.org. We take dogs from kill shelters on the West Coast. We transport them up to the partner rescue shelters. We have our own foster base to give them a second chance at life. And sitting in the office with me today is just one of those dogs, Smiley, who's right now scratching at his face. But yeah, if you're a dog fan, go check us out. We're all over social media at Rough Riders Saves, and we always appreciate any of the support that we can get. As far as Tony's side projects, he does a weekly movie review. If you want to get into that, Tone.
Yeah, 95.1 KMVC out of Carson City. We do a little radio show called the Pop Culture Kaboom. You can check us out. I usually go live about 8:30 or 8:40. I guess it's 7:40 Pacific time. We also now archive our past shows, so feel free to go to kmvc.com. I'll send a link up and go ahead, and if you want to hear any past ones, I know Jimmy had a really good interview with Mark Fergus last week, so that should be good to check out.
Man writer.
Yeah, so good stuff there. I unfortunately did not get a chance to listen to it because I was doing something right after that, so I didn't listen to the show. I just appear on the show. So check it out, and check out our YouTube show, and I have a horrible movie reviews and all that other things I can try to fit in when I'm not working or being sick. So
and then our boom shakalaka. Our final shameless plug is TotallyRad1981.com. It is our sister site to the eras that we grew up with, the 80s, the 90s, the things that we grew up with as kids and love. And it's a t-shirt site, so you can get t-shirts that have the logo in various different formats, from TNC Surf to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, to the Full House logo. Again, paying homage to those things that we love. And then we're all over social media, mostly Instagram with that one, putting up pictures and videos of old show intros or cartoon intros or commercials. And so it's a lot of fun. We're gaining ground there. And again, it's a nice sister site to what we do here on the Proton Pack Podcast.
Excellent!
Nice. All right, we're going to get into the show, starting as we do each and every week with TV news. We only have one TV story, but
that's it this week?
That's it.
The cream of the crop!
It is. So we know that Disney Plus is coming out, the streaming service directly from Disney. We already know that it's going to have a ton of great content, and the best part is it's only $6.99 a month when it's launched. Well, with Disney taking over Fox, there was some question on if they were going to include some of the Fox properties into any of that, or if they were going to do their own Fox-related streaming service. Well, we're getting the first bit of news of the Fox Disney crossover, where director Mick G, which you probably remember him most from, was it late '90s, early 2000s?
Those ones,
yeah, Charlie's Angels movies.
He's also brother of McNugget.
Not the best name in the industry, that's for sure. But in any case, he's come out and said that he is developing a True Lies television series from the Jamie Lee Curtis, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie of the same name that came out back in 97, 98, somewhere around there.
Everyone.
Which followed, Schwarzenegger as Harry Tasker, who was a secret agent, led a double life, and then, Jamie Lee Curtis kind of gets roped into it, and definitely an awesome Schwarzenegger movie.
Oh, it was great.
It was one of the last before he went on his streak of not so good ones like Eraser or End of Days, but that was a fantastic movie.
You son of a bitch.
I'm sorry, Arnold.
You do the chapel, do it now. I can't do a good Arnold voice today.
McGee is saying that it's largely a reboot, but there may be the opportunity for Arnold to make a guest spot, a cameo, which would be really cool to see him. And it was actually originally produced by James Cameron. So did he direct it as well? I forget who directed it.
He did direct that one, yeah, because after that James Cameron went off to do like Titanic, and then that seemed to be his big focus was that, and then it was Avatar, because now he's just turned into producer, aside from directing the upcoming Avatar movies.
Yeah. But in any case, it's nice to know that Disney's bringing some of the Fox properties into the fold, and we're going to see some familiar names, if not faces.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, this is one of those cool things about the Disney Fox merger. You're going to get cool properties like that, and should be good. I mean, worth a check out. I think McGee did some other TV shows. He was directing the Lethal Weapon series before they lost their main character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was enjoyable. The first season. Season 2 kind of went off the rails, and yeah.
And for this type of project where it's really sort of a mix between comedy and action, I think he's got the chops for it. I think he'll do well.
I do too. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah. Sort of a little side tangent, speaking of Fox and Disney. I read just a quick little blip that Ridley Scott and Disney are working hard to try and refocus the Alien franchise and, refresh it for, this new merger.
I just wanted to get that back in there. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I enjoyed Prometheus and Alien Covenant. I know a lot of people didn't, but I think they were trying to work on a third one out of that, and I don't know if that was put on the back burner now or what.
Well, I would imagine that there'd be a home and a room for it, so because they were good origin stories to the Aliens franchise, so definitely not bad.
Yeah, and I guess side tangent of the side tangent. I recently saw The Predator, the new one that Shane Black did. That was awful. Oh, it was terrible. I don't know what you.
I don't know if I ended up watching it.
I think you saw it in the theaters.
Yeah.
That was a lot of noise.
That was. I hit the Predator hoping it would just be a Predator sound to your story. But it was a lot of stuff.
You know what does hold up, though, because after I watched that, I was like, oh, I need a palate cleanser, is Predators, the one that had Adrian Brody and Lawrence Fishburne in it.
Yeah, that one was good.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Predator was not good at all.
No.
But he's also the guy, he directed Iron Man 3, and Iron Man 3 was the worst of the three.
And a lot of people would beg to differ. A lot of people would say Iron Man 2, but I agree with you. It was my least favorite.
That was my least favorite, too.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
With the whole boss thing, yeah.
Yeah. Side tangent is a side tangent.
Sorry. That's the sound I was going for.
There you go.
A little late now.
Fifth time's the charm. Well, since we already started talking about movies and we only had one TV-related article, let's head on into our weekend box office report that we do every week. And again, just like last week, we're recording on a Saturday, so we're well into the next weekend's box office. But let's fill you in on what happened last weekend. Avengers Endgame was finally dethroned by Keanu Reeves as John Wick in John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, which we'll give our review here.
Please get this man a gun.
Speaking of Lawrence Fishburne. It opened with a 57 million, which again is a very good opening for first place. Let's see, John Wick, the first one opened with 43, and Chapter 2 opened with, it is not telling me, so I have no idea. All right. This one did well compared to the other two.
Yeah.
All right. In second place was Avengers Endgame. No surprise there, with another 29.4 million. Has a domestic total of 770.8 million, and its worldwide total is 2.61. And it's just
so close.
It's nipping at the heels of Avatar, which is 2.78.
Because now Avengers is the number one all time in the United States. It officially passed Avatar, but worldwide it's just right there. So
yep. In third place was Pokemon Detective Pikachu with a 24.8 million.
Meh.
We all know how you felt about that.
Yeah. my little fart button it disappeared. So there's normally that I would blow a fart there, but there's just don't know what happened to it. So.
But in all, it's making some pretty good money. Its domestic total is about 94 million, and its worldwide total is 287.4 million. So it's making its money back.
Yeah, it's doing good. I mean, yeah.
The fourth place movie is the comedy drama A Dog's Journey, opened with 8 million. I think that's a lot less than they were expecting, but
you're up against John Wick and you're still battling Avengers. Yeah. Dog's Journey should have came out somewhere like February or March. It probably would have done a lot better.
I didn't realize that this was a sequel to A Dog's Purpose from 2017.
Yeah.
No idea.
The trailer totally spoils it for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Big time.
What's funny is
I'm sure the movie's not gonna fart, but the trailer totally is. I mean, it literally walks you through what happens. It's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, being in the animal welfare industry and dealing with dogs, you would think, oh, man, these movies are right up my alley. I can't watch them. They're too... I think Marley and Me was the one that did it to me, where it's like, oh, man, this is going to be a fun movie about a dog. And then, spoiler alert, the dog dies. And it's like, oh, too sad. I deal with, sad dog stuff on a regular basis. And
yeah,
last thing I want to do is go to the theaters and watch another movie about it. I'd rather, escape to, something a little more John Wick related, where the dogs are kicking ass.
Yes.
But we'll get there. All right. In fifth place was The Hustle, which was the, sort of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels female twist with Rebel Wilson and Anne Hathaway, and it made $6 million. This
is my favorite part now. But yeah, the hustle. I think I did that last week. This one's going to get a huge fart, by the way. The next one you talked about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You were waiting for me. Sorry about that. All right. Rounding out the top 10 is in 6th place, the other Dennis Quaid movie in the top 10, The Intruder.
That was ridiculous. It wasn't that bad, but...
All right. The 7th place movie was The Long Shot with Charlize Theron and Seth Rogen.
Oh, I like that one. I'm not going to give that a fart. That was a good, fun movie. It unfortunately did not find... They released it the wrong time. That's a movie that should have come out during a slow month as well.
That would have been a good, August movie, late August.
Yeah. I think the timing, the way the studio put that one out, I think the studio gets this week, not the movie, because the movie was good.
Yeah. 8th place is The Sun Is Also a Star with 2.6. Don't know anything about that.
Oh, I liked When the Moon Was a Rock, the prequel to it.
The Rock?
The Rock.
He's just playing the moon?
Yes.
Let's see. 9th place was the senior cheerleader comedy Palms with 2 million. Yep. And then in last place, rounding out the top 10. That's a huge is Ugly Dolls with 1.6.
Oh, that's just going to get one loud.
All right. Speaking of weekend box office, and as I mentioned, we are in the middle of this current weekend. Tony, you had a chance to see a movie that we were waiting for, Brightburn. I'm going to go see it tomorrow with the girlfriend, but this is the James Gunn produced Superman alternate story as a full-on horror. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, our friend James Gunn produced a fun movie. So if you guys don't know what Brightburn's about, because most people don't, I told a lot of my friends about it, and they're like, I've never heard of it. The synopsis is really lame, by the way. It's just, what if a child from another world crash landed on Earth, but instead of becoming a hero to mankind, he proved to be something far more sinister. It's pretty basic, and then you send the trailer. So my horrible review is basic as well. It's what if Superman was evil and not a hero? Well, that's Brightburn, basically. It's the story of Superman if he was an evil little teenager. Ben Byer is a creepy teen who is drawn to his spaceship and gets evil tendencies. His dad is Roy from The Office, and his mom is Effie Trinket from The Hunger Games. They worry something is wrong with Ben. Well, guess what? Ben is an alien, and he's an evil Superman. More like a super teenage Chucky. That's right. The pros to this movie is it's produced by James Gunn. Yondu may be in it. Winky, winky.
Oh.
Elizabeth Banks does a great job as Ben's mom to keep him calm. If you like jump scare, it's a thumbs up. If you like crazy horror, ridiculous death scenes, there are 2 gruesome ones. That's a thumbs up. But the cons is it's a predictable movie. Typical, why would you investigate creepy noises in the dark? Hello. This emphasizes on all those idiotic scenes that we grew up on slasher flicks. If you hate jump scares, you're not going to like it. If you hate gruesome movie deaths, you're really not going to like it. But overall, my verdict is if you like horror movies, then absolutely yes, you should see it. If you don't like horror and jump scares, well, then absolutely yes, go see it because your reaction is the best, and that's one of the fun reasons of seeing this in a theater. It is predictable, and the trailer builds it up to be better than it really was. However, I was entertained, and that's the whole goal of the movie. I give Brightburn 4 out of 5. Just remember, I'm not a real critic. I'm just a nerd who writes reviews on his iPhone and a sick, twisted individual.
I like it. While you're talking about that, I just thought of a television-related story that earlier in the week I saw. I was trying to make a mental note to talk about it, and for whatever reason I didn't. So pardon the side tangent, but the next American Horror Story season is going to be 80s slasher themed.
I like it. I didn't have since we didn't have sign tangent. I couldn't get you the good old Eddie. Wow, that's not what I meant saying, Freddie.
What's with kids today, huh? No respect.
Hey, Freddie.
But back to Brightburn. If you like horror movies, if you like jump scares, it looks like that's definitely the alley to go up. I didn't assume it would be like a thriller in the case that made you do a lot of thinking. I figured it was probably just a good popcorn horror flick, which sounds like, based on your view, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable. So definitely worth seeing in the theater.
All right. So of us did get a chance to see is John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. And so in this one, you've got basically it following up the events directly following Chapter 2. Keanu Reeves is back as John Wick. You've got Halle Berry in there. A lot of the familiar faces come back, including Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne. And, it's directed by a new director, and I don't have his name here. David Leitch was the director of the first two, and he also directed Deadpool.
Captain Deadpool?
Yeah. And this one, while it has, the amazing choreography and, just death after death after death and in different creative ways, it has a slightly different look to it, which is interesting. The first two were sort of dark and gritty, very much like Deadpool, whereas this one was like bright and almost neon, and gave it some really cool visual aspects. Story-wise, again, still not as good as the first two, but again, it's a John Wick movie. You don't go there for the story. You go there for, just the action and death and gruesomeness and everything that happens there. He returns with his pit bull, who doesn't have as much of a role in this movie as he did in John Wick 2. But what we do get is the two German shepherds that are Halle Berry's dogs that kick some major ass.
They're vicious in that movie. Woo.
Yeah, and the way they use them, it's almost like dogs doing karate. If you haven't seen the movie, that would make no sense. But when you see the movie, it's like, okay, that's fucking badass. Ooh, I just dropped the F-bomb.
Did you? I didn't censor your time.
But
we're already, apparently, if you look, we're already an explicit show. So
we try to keep things PG-13. Drop maybe one F-bomb, a couple shits here and there. But if you go on iTunes or anywhere that we're hosted, then they mark us as explicit, but I don't think we're that explicit.
I don't think we're explicit at all, those mother.
What did you think of John Wick Chapter 3?
Oh, dude, it was great. It was action-packed, non-stop. Loved the fighting in action. This is the most kills in a movie I think I've seen since the snap of Thanos, man. It's entertaining, fast-paced, good humor. It's just a crazy fun ride. The only cons, people died in the movie, and that's really the only con I can think. It's the horse scenes, man. The way he uses the horse as a weapon, dude. Slapping the horse in the booty and then the horse drop kicking the people. Just how vicious and random it was.
And they use different things, like him using a library book as a weapon.
Oh yeah. The way he jammed it in the guy's jaw. Oh.
Yeah, definitely creative. So much fun. I loved the bad guy. I can't remember his name, but he was
fantastic villain, dude.
He's the Iron Chef host. I can't think of what his name is.
He was such a smart ass in it. And it was great.
Yeah. Good movie. It didn't suffer much from having a new director. Now, one thing that I found out is The director was often Keanu Reeves' stunt double throughout his career, so for like the Matrix series. And he was actually the guy who filled in for Brandon Lee after Brandon Lee died on the set of The Crow, to finish up the movie. And so the director has some major chops as far as, stunt choreography and martial arts background. And, he's definitely showing what he can do in this movie.
Oh, it was so good. I mean, the action was very fast paced. And what I liked too was the people that sat next to us at the theater. At times, I was like, are they having sex or are they just really into this movie? Because it was like every punch scene, it was like, ooh, ah, ooh, ooh, son of a, oh. I don't know who has sex like that, but it's just they were very into it. So
yeah. But I mean, some of those scenes and some of those, things that they did, you couldn't almost help but audibly make those sounds. It was like just involuntary, just like, oh, especially with the horses.
I don't know what it's doing.
The heck?
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum.
Thanks, Roddy.
I just wanted a kick effect for the thing, but it went on a tangent, and I think Parappa the Rappa Onion jumped in there.
That's funny. So, I definitely recommend John Wick if you're an action fan. John Wick 4. I tried going back to find it on any of the streaming services, the John Wick and John Wick 2, just to be like, I want to refresh, and I can't find it anywhere.
No.
So, may have to pick it up on Blu-ray.
No. I think I have them on my, I share the Voodoo with you.
Yeah, I got to figure out a way to get that to work with my Amazon Fire Stick, because Amazon and Voodoo do not like to play together.
They do not, no.
But, so John Wick Chapter 3, awesome. And
I give it 5 out of 5. That's the second best movie I've seen this summer behind Avengers. Avengers is King of the Mountain for me, but John Wick was right there.
So it's what? Sorry. Smiley's over here trying to get my attention. It's no surprise that there's going to be a John Wick Chapter 4. Obviously, they set it up at the end. We're not getting any spoilers. But Lionsgate actually did a really neat thing in announcing it. They sent out a text to fans. I don't know how fans got on this text list, but basically the text message says, "You have served. You will be of service. John Wick Chapter 4 is coming May 21st, 2021. So we've got 2 years before we see another John Wick. Keanu Reeves, I mean, I want to say he's something ridiculous like 60 years old, and he's still kicking ass.
Oh, man, he's in great shape, and the training he did for this movie was phenomenal. So, definitely go see this. It's, as Lawrence Fishburne says,
Somebody please get this man a gun.
What I liked at the end, too, are you pissed off, John? Yeah, I'm pissed off. So, yes, that's it.
Good movie. All right, going from good movie to potential train wrecks. A couple weeks ago, we featured Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, which, it got a lot of grief for the way that Sonic looked, and the director Jeff Fowler came out and said, okay, we've heard what you said. We're going back. We're redesigning Sonic. We're giving him some dental surgery. He didn't say that, but it was implied. And that they were going to redo the visual effects in order to make it closer to what the fans expect. And so
News, everyone.
That is good news. It's one of those things that, we're in an age where feedback is given in real time, and it gives them the opportunity to make those changes on the fly. Now, the only thing with that is the time frame. So there was some concern that, in doing those visual effects, that the movie wouldn't be out in time for its original date of November 8th. And looks like that's been confirmed. They've actually moved the movie back now to Valentine's Day, February 14th of 2020. So with that being said, I'm actually kind of glad that they decided to push it back. That way they're not rushing into doing something. They can give it the time that it deserves. And ultimately, if they get the character design right, then the movie will be given the opportunity to stand on its own. If the comedy works, the action works, Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, as opposed to being a distraction of looking at a weird-ass Sonic the Hedgehog.
He looked terrible.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they just look at, shoot, they had it right in Wreck-It Ralph. Like, just make Sonic look like Sonic. You don't need to reinvent his look or anything. People know what he looks like. It'd be like making Mario like a, like a skinny Hispanic called Mario or something,
Mario.
It's me, Mario. Oye, ese vato, Mario.
So, February 2020 is when we're going to see the Sonic movie. And it's a good thing they're pushing it back, but only time will tell if it's actually a good movie.
That's my early predictions.
That could be. All right, moving on to the next story. So when we opened up the show, we made reference to Toy Story, which we all know that Toy Story 4 is coming out this summer on June 21st. So little less than a month away. Well, there's another toy movie coming out the same day, and their marketing has been spot on. Because they're opening the same day, the Child's Play movie, which is the horror movie with Chucky, has released...
Shut up.
has released two not trailers, but posters where it's basically Chucky destroying the toys of Toy Story. And Tony's going to post it up on our Facebook page. It's the smartest thing they could have done in their marketing efforts.
Yeah, they're doing a great job with it because it's not going to beat Toy Story at the box office. But I think for a remake, for a reboot, it actually looks pretty entertaining. I like the trailer. I don't necessarily like the look of Chucky, but I like the fact that Mark Hamill has done a great job. But I guess in hindsight, the original Chucky was really lame.
Right. Well, and not only that, but they didn't depart from the look of Chucky so much that it just takes you out of it. And if you enjoyed the original stuff, it's not like what they did with Freddy Krueger in the remake with what's his name?
Jackie Earle Haley.
Haley, yeah.
Oh, that was a terrible Freddy. That's the worst looking Freddy I've ever seen in my life. It was worse than Sonic the Hedgehog, dude.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So, I'm looking forward to this remake of Child's Play. It stars Aubrey Plaza, obviously Mark Hamill doing the voice of Chucky. He's got an amazingly creepy laugh. And they, as we've mentioned before, have gone away from the soul of a killer, possessing the doll to an AI gone wrong, which, in this day and age, I think could work.
Yeah, the trailer is definitely creepy. So it's got my interest. I definitely, they showed it right before Brightburn. So it's definitely something I would go see.
Yeah, Smiley. Sorry, I'm trying to get Smiley out of this little corner over here. All right.
Like I was doing a pop culture kaboom. I would definitely go see this movie because I rate trailers. My mindset goes there.
Sorry, Smiley has all of a sudden decided to try and get me to play with him, and it's like, doesn't he understand I'm trying to do a podcast here? All right.
Bub.
Moving on from one 80s franchise that we enjoyed to another 80s franchise that we love. Hit it, Steve.
Oh, dee 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 dee.
You didn't have the music pulled up?
No, I didn't have it ready. So right when you hit it, Steve, I didn't time it right. So you got a really bad version of that.
So
a fail.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I didn't save on my soundboard. That's why.
We're talking Back to the Future, if you didn't get that from Tony's little a cappella performance there. And it's not Back to the Future coming as a reboot or a remake or a sequel or a prequel. It's actually Back to the Future, the musical, is set for a 2020 world premiere. Now, we don't talk a lot about musicals on this podcast.
I'm not a big musical fan.
No, but at the same time, it's Back to the Future, which is, one of our favorite franchises. And, it's getting the original players back involved. So Alan Silvestri, who was the composer of the movies, Zemeckis, who actually worked with co-screenwriter Bob Gale, they're the ones who wrote the musical. And so, again, it's getting the original creative force behind it. It's going to, open in the Manchester Opera House. So we're not even going to get it here in the States for probably a while. But there are some really good songs that came out of the Back to the Future franchise, including, The Power of Love, Johnny Be Good, Earth Angel, and then Back in Time. So I would expect we'll probably see, versions of those in the musical.
Yeah, well, and as long as Bono's not doing it, it won't end up in the fate like Spider-Man, so.
Spider sense is tingling.
So we may get one more update on.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the weirder. This is a slow news week. It was definitely one of the weirder ones we came across. Like, we'll see.
Yeah. But thought it was worth at least a mention. Now, another franchise that we grew up with and loved. It certainly had its good versions and its awful versions. And when we heard about what they were doing with Terminator Dark Fate, I was pleasantly surprised. You're bringing Linda Hamilton back in as Sarah Connor. Of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the T-800. James Cameron is producing, and the director is Tim Miller, who directed Deadpool 2. And so you've got a good force there. And this week we got our very first trailer, which is our Proton Pack trailer of the week, which, do we have a theme for that? Or was it the box office report we forgot to do the theme for?
It was the box office report, but that's okay. So we can for the trailer of the week this week, because it's always been me doing the nasally one, and I'm already nasally, and my singing is top notch, but we'll do this for the trailer of the week.
All right, so Terminator Dark Fate, we've only gotten a few pictures here and there, and now the trailer reveals a lot about not only the story, but some of the characters that are involved. And we get a new evil Terminator, which...
Evil! Dr. Evil!
Which is played by Gabriel Luna, and it's neat. It's sort of a mix between the T-800 and the T-1000, where... he can replicate himself through other pieces of metal, and some really cool scenes, obviously regenerate the same way the T-1000 did. And I think it's a cool take on it. Now, the female hero, who is played by... Looking for her name, not finding it. Anyway, the female Terminator is almost like, and they sort of hint to it, human Terminator hybrid, which I don't know how that's going to play out. Obviously, they'll explain it more in the movie, but you get just a taste of it in the trailer.
Yeah, it looks really good. It was a nice surprise this week. Quietly went out. The return of Linda Hamilton, I think, is a huge thing. The fact that James Cameron's producing and Tim Miller from Deadpool is directing, I think it's going to be good. I mean, it's got to be better than what we got. The Genesis one just sucked.
Yeah. And then this is the first one that's basically the departure from the John Connor storyline. So everyone before that is all revolved around John Connor being the, what do they call it in the movie terms? Oh, it'll come to me. Basically the object that everybody's going after.
Yeah, he's the resistance leader, and if they take him out, then the resistance doesn't happen, and basically, but I forget what they call him, so.
Yeah, I want to say the boondoggle, but it's not. It's some other weird name like that that's a movie term for, like the Lost Ark or, whatever the object is that's the focus of the movie. God, that's going to piss me off now. It'll hit me tonight.
Right, and then later, and then like if you guys watch the podcast and comment on it, which some do, some don't, then you'll be like, "It's this, you idiot." And he's not an idiot; he just doesn't know.
So Terminator: Dark Fate. Tony, I'm sure, has posted on our Facebook page, Proton Pack Podcast. We're also on Instagram, but movie comes out November 1st, which is an interesting place to put it, considering it doesn't fall into the summer movie season and doesn't fall into the the Christmas movie season. So that might have actually been a really good move on their part.
Yeah, I think so. Release it further. It's smart. Don't open up against big things, especially, unfortunately, with the Terminator series over the years has been kind of tainted with some poop sequels. So. I think they should have put The Rock in it. That would have rejuvenated it.
That would rejuvenate anything.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. The next bit of movie news, we had reported last week that Lucasfilm has come out and said that the next group of Star Wars movies we're going to start seeing in 2022. So we've got a little bit of time before those come out. But there's been a lot of speculation on what those... I love that version of it from Peter.
It's always good, right?
Yeah. So anyway, there was a lot of speculation about, what these new series of movies would revolve around. And the rumor that I liked the most was based on the Knights of the Old Republic. Yes. Well, it looks like more and more of that is coming around to being an actuality, and that sources claim that it's currently being written by Leta Kalogridis. I hope I said that right. She wrote Shutter Island, was an executive producer on Avatar, and she was a co-screenwriter on Alita Battle Angel. So with those writing credits, that's definitely in good hands. And then, of course, the favorite bad guys from that series are Darth Malak and Darth Revan. And I'm sure people who love the Knights of the Old Republic series are just dying to see them on the big screen.
I think it's a smart, if you're going to move away from the Skywalker saga finally, I think this is a great fan service option to go through for sure. I think it's, get away from the Rian Johnson thing, man. That, I have no interest in seeing his crap.
Yeah. And the nice thing about
bad that I don't give a flying what he's got coming.
And I think it'll be good in its own right. Just don't give him characters that we already know and love and give him the opportunity to shit on him like you did in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, unless it's General Akbar. You can do a movie with him.
Or Jar Jar.
Misa, no. I'd only want to see it if Jar Jar would have been if they would have just tied him and made him the Sith Lord that he is. That would have made him a better character, but he, unfortunately, is a big steaming pile of...
Now, we know that Rian Johnson's working on a trilogy, and then the Game of Thrones showrunners D.B. Weiss and David Benioff were working on another one. And I think that this is probably the D.B. Weiss, David Benioff version. Knights of the Old Republic is almost like a medieval version of the Star Wars histories, and I think they do really well with it.
Yowie wowie!
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday about how the Game of Thrones ended and how it was so disappointing, and it felt rushed, and the whole season was like, they're like, well, maybe they're just too focused on Star Wars now. So
Yeah. Which, it's hard to please everyone with a show of that magnitude ending. If Dexter is a good example of.
Oh my God,
Dex,
that was just the epitome of shitty ending. Like, it was the most ridiculous thing I had seen.
Yeah, and it was a loved show. It was an amazing show, and again, it's how do you end it? And it's one of those things where they made a choice and they have to live with it. Have you heard about the petition? I mean, massively growing petition going around for Game of Thrones that fans want them to redo the entire last season.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
But you can't. Yeah. Now, if you go back and do it, it's still not going to be perfect. I mean, like you said, there's no pleasing the masses. When you get into the pop culture world, you're going to please some. You're not going to please all. It's like the podcast, People are going to like it. Some are not. You just do it for you and, be as true as you can in the material. And, it sucks that it didn't live up to their expectations, but most series finales don't. And Dexter's a great example. I thought I won't spoil it, and if anyone wants to watch it, I would say just the last episode sucks. The last season sucked. But the whole him driving into the storm thing, I'm like, oh, that's okay. I could see that ending that way. That's fine. But then when he's the lumberjack, I guess I said I wasn't going to spoil it. Well, I spoiled it. So.
Yeah.
But then when he's the lumberjack at the end, I'm like, this is stupid.
It's been out long enough that, I think spoiler alerts are well past on this.
Yeah, not needed. But how they were originally going to end that show was, I think one of the main show creators or writers left during season 5, which was the Trinity Killer year. And that was awesome.
Was the best season.
It was so good. It kept you on the edge of your seat week in, week out. It made you want showtime. I mean, you were in. He had come out and said the original ending for Dexter, his vision for it was he was going to be in the last episode in the death chair, like right before his execution.
Uh-huh.
Every episode from season 1 to that moment was flashbacks of what led him to go to prison, and that's what got him there. So
I think that would have been a great way to do it, or have this last season with him in prison the whole season and getting away with the things he's doing and how he navigates that.
Yeah, because he never got caught. Well, every time he was about to get caught, then he made sure he didn't get caught, or some dumb luck thing happens, as some TV shows do. But I was disappointed with him being a lumberjack, because it's like, so you mean to tell me he's got a kid out there, which could always leave the door open for another Dexter, to him just randomly being in the woods as a lumberjack, and he's not going to get the urge? Like, the whole point of him was he was justice when justice wasn't served. Like, he only took out the people that were bad up until a certain point in one of the seasons. Then he was just killing, and that was weird. Like when he was in Nebraska, and he just killed the dude, and it got stupid towards the end. So, long rant, but
somehow that all relates back to Star Wars.
Yes, it totally goes together. You're right, it really doesn't, Darth.
All right, that does it for movie news this week, and then we've got a couple things in video game stories.
Oh,
and then
I like video games. If I didn't have so many sound clips, I would have had a video game intro for you. So you get to listen to me cough.
Oh my! He's on fire!
All right. So one of the games that we loved the first two, so glad to see it's coming back. And the fact that Fox has now merged with Disney is very apparent with this. We're talking Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order. and there was a trailer that was just released that introduces a bunch of the X-Men characters. And so not only the villains, but the good guys as well. You've got Magneto, Juggernaut, Mystique, and then on the hero side, Beast, Psylocke, Nightcrawler, Wolverine. And the animation is fantastic. It's like a slightly 3D, slightly cell shaded, probably what Capcom should have, the last Marvel vs. Capcom should have looked like. But, it looks like Sentinels are going to play a big part in this game. And then obviously it revolves around, the Black Order trying to gather up all the Infinity Stones for Thanos. And it looks good. At this point, it's only coming out to Nintendo Switch. Hopefully it makes its way over to PlayStation or Xbox, but Tony's going to put the trailer up there. If you enjoyed the first two games or you're just a fan of Marvel in general, definitely worth checking out.
Oh, yeah. It's going to have so many characters in this thing, too. I'll post it on our page as well, but they have 49 characters confirmed thus far as of May 23rd. That was when the article was released, but it's got Nebula, Star-Lord, Drax, Rocket, Groot. Everyone that you can imagine, is in this game so far. Some obscure ones. You take everything you've seen from the basic Avengers and that, but I love that it's got Wolverine, the Sentinels. It's got Ronan the Accuser in it. Kingpin is in it. Green Goblin, Nick Fury, Black Widow back from the dead. Woohoo! Lockjaw, a giant bulldog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in it.
Part of Excalibur.
Yeah, I'm trying to get you some rare ones. Inhuman Princess Crystal's in it. Of course, Thanos. Daredevil, Deadpool, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen. I'm trying to find. I like some of these just obscure ones. I love seeing the X-Men in it, though, like Psylocke's in it, Juggernaut, Beast, Nightcrawler. How are you not excited about this game if you're a Marvel fan? It comes out October. It comes out October 26th. So IGN did post it was coming out July 19th. It's not coming out that soon. It says we incorrectly identified Marvel Ultimate Alliance as a. Oh wait, why did you reload? Right when I'm reading this article. I think it does actually in July it comes out.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading.
July 19th. Like they had put October 26th, but it's July 19th. So even better. It comes out this summer. I'm hoping that it does really well on the Switch, but I am fingers crossed hoping that you see this game on your Xbox, your PlayStation 4, or even Steam. If you're an online gamer, I think the more games like this catch wind, this will open the door for games like Marvel vs. Capcom and other Marvel games, because we have not gotten a traditional X-Men game since I think PS2.
It's been a while.
Yeah, because they used to have those other role-playing games before Ultimate Alliance. They were X-Men ones. It was X-Men Legends and then Legends 2, but it's been since the PS2 days since that's come out.
Yeah, well, the nice thing is X-Men is back with Marvel Official now, and there's going to be a big push to bring them back into the fold and get them back out to where people loved them as much as they used to back in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, well, that's crazy. I started seeing like X-Men things at Target, like that X-Men t-shirts, and it's all good. I know Dark Phoenix is coming out. That could be a reason why you're starting to see some more X-Men stuff, and I'm just happy to see it in video game form, because the X-Men have so many bitching characters. Marvel just has bitching characters in general. So,
all right, and then moving on to our final story, also in video games.
Where are we going?
Down I don't know.
That's where we're going. Although the little sound bite that I need is not there, so just go with it for a second, and I'm just going to hit random stuff until we play it, and I'm dragging, and I'm dragging, and I'm going to woo! And then I cannot believe it's not there. Are you kidding me?
So to give you guys a little
Oh, there it is.
look behind the scenes, we spend about 20 minutes before recording the show figuring out sound bites and show order and all of that stuff. And so Tony spent, God, probably a good 5 minutes looking for the sound bite for this one.
Yeah, and then it got mixed because it's not. Also, on my soundboard that I play on here, not everything is labeled like it's a me Mario. It's like, for example, the Back to the Future one. When I was supposed to play that, it doesn't say Back to the Future. It says Tin Tin Lin 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 Lin. Like,
seriously?
I'm not looking for Tin Lin Lin Lin. I'm looking for Back to the Future. So I don't label them. I just find them and put them on there. And the Mario one was hard because it's not Mario. It's a me. So I had to.
All right.
Find it's a me.
So why don't you hit it again and then we can kick off the story.
It's me, Mario.
Yes. So Mario, as we had reported a number of episodes back, has a couple new games coming to mobile, to iPhone, and the one that we're going to see here pretty soon is Mario Kart Tour, which a Mario Kart game on mobile is something I've been waiting for a long time. And we're just now getting our first looks at it. Very Mario Kart looking. Gameplay, I know, Tony, you have a little insight in the gameplay. I'm a little bummed to hear how they're handling it. But at the same time, it sort of makes sense.
Yeah, it's so on mobile. The game looks great. It definitely, graphic-wise, is fine, but it looks like the way the game is going to play is going to be it controls itself. So if you played Mario Run, it just, like, Mario is nonstop run. All you do is tap the screen so he jumps, whereas in Mario Kart, you're going to be using your fingers to just steer and maybe hit a button to do a power-up. So that's a little disappointing on that end, but they did test it. There's a beta out to Europe and Japan right now, and some of the people that have tested it on the Android, some of the things they're saying is initial reports, it's simplified. Your racer drives automatically. You just drag left or right to the corner. Typical roster of familiar courses and items and characters are included. There is no Birdo, is what they said. Graphic-wise, it looks great. But this is going to be fun. Great for mobile. I mean, they're not going to give you the whole package or anything. I think they are going to do microtransactions so you can buy different characters over time.
Yeah, so it'll be free to download, so you'll be able to play it right off the bat. But you're going to have to pay to either get new characters or skins or carts or maybe even levels.
Yeah, it's getting good feedback, though. The people that have played it, they're saying it's multi-level drivers, karts, gliders. Race drivers have advantages during that. Stamina system limits races available on an hourly basis. So everything is in beta mode, but from the general early feedback is it looks pretty cool. So
yeah, and we're supposed to see it sometime this summer. They haven't given an official release date yet, but we're right around the corner for summer, so just keep your eyes open. The other thing that's neat is they've revealed the roster. So obviously you're going to get Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, Toad, Shy Guy, Toadette, Metal Mario, Dry Bones, and then the baby characters as well.
That's actually pretty good for just an initial rollout like that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have like the Mario Kart 8 roster, which is huge, but at the same time, it's pretty good, from mobile games.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great game. It's awesome to see Nintendo branch away, because they've had the DS, they've had the handheld market for so long. It's nice to see them expand and play nice with mobile phones. Sega's done it forever, and it's nice that Nintendo is doing that now as well. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited. So sometime in the next, I would assume 3 months or so, we'll see this come out. We'll get a chance to play it. We'll give you our official review. And so, yeah, for a show that was didn't have a lot of stuff, we were able to make it fun, drag it out a little bit.
We did. We added a lot of farts, and there was only minimal technical difficulties, and there wasn't as much impersonations for me this time because I am sick, and that sucks. But
yep. So again, we appreciate everybody who subscribes, downloads, streams. Follow us again on our social media, Proton Pack Podcast on Facebook and Instagram, and we love seeing our download numbers increase. We've got a couple changes that we're going to be looking to make here pretty soon on the back end of things, and we'll fill you in on those. And aside from that, Tony, if you want to go ahead and take us out.
Goodbye.